So for the last 6 months, I've been consistently selling $80,000 a month in tires online. And this company owns absolutely zero tires. Now you might be asking yourself, how am I doing this? Well, it's all thanks to a model called drop shipping. And also just a little bit of thinking outside the box. So I started 3 years ago and noticed that having a website with thousands of tires online, it's actually a little bit harder than I thought. Also, not to mention, I wasn't even competitive in pricing because the shipping from Las Vegas to New York or anywhere else in the US was my price roughly $45 to $80 per tire, which left me completely uncompetitive. That's when I finally decided to invest in some integrations, some coding, some programs, and decided to start building my own feed of networks of warehouses, where instead of shipping the tire from Las Vegas, somewhere I could get a really good price from, and then ship it to New York, I would simply find a good price in New York and then ship it from New York to New York. So in other words, instead of shipping from Nevada to New York and spend $80 in a tire for shipping, I would actually just spend $13 or $15 for the tire because it's just being shipped from New York to New York. But the key here is to find enough warehouses to cover pretty much all over the US so that you're not losing over time for a random order that comes from Florida, Texas, California, or New York. Finally, towards the end, I was able to save enough cash flow to pretty much launch some campaigns, and that got my whole journey going. But before we continue, please help me out by smashing that like button and subscribe. Also, it is extremely important that you reach out to me via Instagram or via email. The sponsor of this video is actually called TireBase, which is my own point of sale system that will be launching very soon. So if you're a tire shop owner or anyone like that that is interested in doing a trial and giving me some feedback, definitely feel free to reach out to me via email. I'm not going to be reaching out to people via comments or anywhere else with forums. So I think email to me is just the safest way to reach me right now. Also, be sure to stick towards the end of the video because I'm going to be showing you a tip that's going to allow you to pretty much get started if you want to start your own online e-commerce business for tires that is gonna guarantee you to save money on shipping, something I struggled when I was just starting out. So in this video, just to be clear, I am going to be going over how I started doing everything from, I'm gonna kind of touch bases as to how I started, what I did, what programs I'm using, what integrations I'm using, and how I'm using all my warehouse information to somehow make my business work. I have left some timelines for your convenience, so feel free to just jump around to wherever you want to jump around. So like I was saying, I started 3 years ago when I suddenly had the idea of selling tires online. Why? Because I had a warehouse with over 5,000 tires pretty much here in Vegas, and I thought, why can't I just sell online as well? I got really competitive prices. I'm sure other people in the US can also benefit from. However, I quickly found out that shipping was just gonna be a problem. Also, not to mention having items into a site was expensive because the first quote I got from a company, which I'm not gonna name, but it was a company in the tire industry related, quoted me over $100,000 to build a site with the things I needed. At that time, I was really like, and even right now, honestly, I would not pay $100,000 for such thing because it's just too much money, right? So I did what I just normally do. I went ahead, started up my own website on Shopify.com, started with a basic plan, and started manually importing products into Shopify.com. I decided to name the company thetiredealer.com because I really like the name Tire Dealer, especially if I was going to be dealing with multiple networks of warehouses. I thought that, I'm like the actual dealer, right? Where I could tell you, yep, I'll get you this price, this price, this price. So the name just made sense. The domain Tire Dealer was already taken, so I just added the Tire Dealer, and then that's it. I realized quickly though that the site itself was the easiest part. Getting the tires in the site, that was not very easy. I did encounter some of the following issues. First, how do I actually get the tires into the site? Do I import them by Excel? Do I set up a feed? Will I do this manually? Will it be automated? Second, how competitive is my website really gonna be in terms of pricing and the quantity in stock? Oftentimes our warehouses quantity change frequently every day. So how am I gonna be able to update this in a consistent basis so that my website's displaying the most accurate information all the time? On top of that, it kind of would also make me wonder, why would people want to shop with the Tire Dealer compared to Tire Rack or some other company? And then the third issue I encountered too was, how can I finally get people to convert? Assuming I get all my images, all my products, that they're updated and constantly accurate all the time, and people are willing to give me a shot. how can I get more people to convert, and how can I maximize the traffic so that for every 1,000 people that visit my site, I get the maximum amount of purchases or conversions in this case, so that I can really make this project successful. Again, in this case, I would think, well, am I going to be focusing in price? Am I going to be focusing in financing? Am I going to be focusing in convenience, customer service? But we'll touch base in all those little topics in just a moment. So the first thing I did, I just went to work. I started designing a website, and I'll try to find if I can find a template of the original website I designed on Shopify. I think it's going to be quite interesting for you guys to see how that site just looked. There was no search tool. There was just products, and it was just honestly, right now, it kind of gives me a nice feeling of how we've progressed along the road. But what I'm trying to say here is that you're going to start ugly. It's going to start bad, for really, it's just that's the way it is. But I started investing my time in designing and trying out the site and making sure that it's working and that the products are accurately being displayed, and so on and so forth. At the same time, I reached out to one of the largest tire distributors in the US to allow me to enroll in their dropshipping business. I did get declined in some of the other warehouses because I simply didn't have enough experience, and I didn't have a development team, which means I didn't have engineers or a team of engineers that could help me code. And I personally don't know nothing about code. So a lot of these warehouses declined me, but I was finally able to find one that gave me that shot and allowed me to connect to over 180 warehouses in the US. This was a true breaking point for me personally because it would allow me to access over 180 warehouses, over 20,000 items, and pretty much I could now have coverage of pretty much a nationwide coverage, which really gave me that boost in confidence that we could do it and this project could actually be something better. Not to mention the feed or the integration that we would build with this warehouse they would provide me with images and pretty much tire specs and everything, all this information that oftentimes costs. But the issue to this now, I had the deal accepted, but the issue with this was who's gonna build the integration. This is something that I really struggled with because again, I went back to that other company and I told them, hey, look, you know what? I have my website, I got everything. I don't want you to do me the $100,000 website, but how much would you quote me on building pretty much a warehouse integration with my Shopify website? And they straight out my face just told me, we can't work with Shopify because we just don't work with Shopify. Shopify is not a tire website, so that you're just wasting your time. It's gonna look completely unprofessional. But if you still want us to work with you, then it's gonna be somewhere around $40,000 for just the integration. So that's when I was like, you know what, I'm tired of this. And I reached out to a close friend I have in Mexico that I went to school with, and he was an engineer and he has his own small, he has actually now kind of like a small to medium sized business doing programming, so websites and all that stuff. So after I spoke with him and we decided to give it a go, he quoted me for $6,000 for this integration. After paying some other changes that I had to do to the project, the total integration for this warehouse of 180 warehouses in the US costed me around $7,000 to $8,000, which was much better than the $100,000 I was originally paid or the $40,000 that I was quoted. But now we had it, and again, I'll try to find another template where I had all these images and items in my website and the theme that I had. But once I had all those products already in the site, now the problem was, okay, we have items, we have pricing, we have everything, but we're not getting sales. So what's going on here? So I quickly found out that really the user interface, which is just the website design, is extremely important on how your consumer looks at you. And it really determines, a simple color could determine someone from buying or not buying in your site. So I had to work for 12 months simply just polishing through the site. And one of the first things I found out was the search widget tool. A lot of people that look for tires online don't know what tires to purchase. And so you really need a tool or a widget that, it asks you for your vehicle and then it recommends the size that your vehicle has. Oftentimes this is actually connected to some sort of database that has vehicle fitment guides. So at that time, I also tried reaching out to other companies and it was just too expensive, either too expensive to buy their widget or they simply wouldn't want to work with me because I was using Shopify and I was trying to build something for myself in a way. Long story short, I decided to go with a company in India that helped me build this tool and collaboration with American Tire Distributors, which is one of the largest tire distributors in the US as well. We kind of connected to their API in a way where we could pull that information for vehicle fitment guides and that worked really, really well. After I finished that search widget tool, I started implementing filters for our results. People could search by brand, they could search by specific specs that they're looking for. I started polishing things like, adding add to cart buttons, buy it now button, one-click buy buttons, things like that. Adding reviews, asking customers to leave reviews, stuff like that that could really gain that consumer trust. So I started in 2018 roughly, and so by 2020 we were kind of like in the middle of the pandemic, and I was finally able to get the site with probably $200 million worth of inventory that I didn't own any of it, but I could have access to, that the website was updating every day with all the quantities and pricing and everything, but we still weren't getting any sales. But it took me 3 years almost to just get to that point. And it has costed me so far, thousands of dollars. And of course I had my full-time job. But what I'm trying to say here is that it wasn't an overnight success. My shipping costs, finally, I was able to get them anywhere between tires that weight anywhere between 0 to 15 pounds, or no, 0 to 30 pounds is $15. So what I'm paying flat rate around the US on average, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. And then tires that are 30 pounds and 60 pounds is somewhere around $25. And it goes all the way to 120 pounds, which is the maximum weight that FedEx Ground can carry. And I'm paying roughly like $50 per tire on those big tires. Anything bigger than that, I'll just use a freight company. So while we were working on these 12 months, I was personally working because I really don't have a large team. It's just me and another guy that I hired in through Synergy Sage, which is an outsourcing company, which if you're interested, I'll leave a discount below. But anyways, it's just me and that guy. That guy is just helping me kind of gather information, gathering ASINs for Amazon so we can start listing our tires into Amazon as well. And so it was finally when we started December of 2021, where we started selling significant amount of products in Amazon. And so once we started selling in Amazon, that kind of gave me enough cash flow to push into advertising on Google and Microsoft and Facebook. After determining which channel was best and after doing some tweaks, it's extremely important because this is what I did and I would recommend. I put 500 is too little, first of all. I think for you to have meaningful impact into your dropshipping website, you will have to spend anywhere at least $2,000 per channel if you want to see some meaningful impact or results, So $2,000, $2,000, $2,000, that's $6,000 per month in advertising spend. I know it sounds like a lot and I know it's like, very risky, but it just works. I did this and I saw that one of these, Google, for example, was returning me $10 per every dollar spent. Microsoft was returning me anywhere between $11.50 to $12, and then Facebook was roughly $8. I'm sure if I could have tweaked it, Facebook and Google, I could have made more, but at that time I just decided to focus on Microsoft, and so that's where I started spending my $7,000 a month in advertising, and that's how I started getting people to come into the site. And trust me, once people start coming into your site and you have the product, and there's always going to be that one person that's just going to be happy and comfortable and they're just going to purchase it. So with that being said, as of January, pretty much just to give you guys perspective, and I'll show you guys some numbers here on the screen, but all 2021, we probably only sold roughly $200,000 in tires for the entire year. As of right now in July, which we're July, but let's just call it until June, the end of June, we sold over $500,000 in these 6 months. Now, the project itself is still not profitable as I would like it to, because anything that we've been making in profits has been reinvested in other integrations, which now we just finished just some days ago, and now I'm connected to over 1,000 warehouses in the US where I'm getting daily feeds, we're getting pricing, we're building algorithms, and we're dealing with all the shipping, logistics, and all that stuff. So we're getting a lot of information, a lot of products, but right now one of the issues is that a lot of these products don't have images. I tried licensing the images and it was like $20,000 a year, which I think is too much. I really could have myself and my team just work really hard for the next 4 weeks and we can knock out all those images, and legally, we're not breaching anyone's contract, because we're not going to get them from private sites like Tire Rack. We're actually going to reach out to the manufacturers and get those images from them. But in general, this is how I build my site. It really took me so long, and now it's still even in kind of like a phase where it's still not profitable. We have the information and the data, but the project itself is just, a lot of learning curves. So, first was, how do we get the products into the site? How do I get the website? How do I get the pricing right? How do I get the products updated on a daily basis? How do I get that network around the US? Right now, the problems we are experiencing at our stage level is images, products, staying relevant to the products that are being released. And one of our main issues right now is pricing, because our search pricing tool or our search bar does not ask for a zip code. So sometimes the warehouse we're pulling for, the algorithm pulls the lowest price with the shipping rate. So sometimes in New York, someone's buying it, but the warehouse is all the way in California. So we have some discrepancies there, and that causes us to lose. So we're trying to fix those things right now. The other issue that we're experiencing that is extremely unprofitable is returns. There's a high percentage of returns, and so it's kind of like a question of who's going to pay for the return, because we already spent to ship the product. Now we have to spend to ship it back, and then it's like, if we're paying $20 on average, let's say per tire, this customer bought 4 tires, we paid $80 in shipping, but we made $200 in the order, we're making $120 in profit. But if now the customer's returning it to us, now we're spending $160 because we spent $80 to return it, and we lost the sale, right? We don't get that profit because we had to return the full amount to the customer, so we actually came out of pocket with $160. So you could see how this could become a big issue as you go into more scale. But again, it's all about things that I'm deciding right now. Am I gonna provide a better customer service, peace of mind for the customer, and absorb that cost? Or am I gonna start billing for returns? These are things that I just have to kind of test the waters, and I guess we'll only find out as we go along. So now we're getting close to the end of the video, and I promised you guys a little tip on how to start if you're just starting out. So if you're thinking and starting your own site, because I've had plenty of people reach out to me via Instagram or email that they want to start their own site and they don't know how to, I have some solutions for you guys and some tips. Number one, if you want that national coverage with shipping rates included, I am building a program to offer it to you. What does that mean? That you can have your own site. It could be a Shopify website, or it could be any website you want. I can send you a daily Excel sheet of all the products all over the US with a shipping rate included, or but again, I'm working on the details, so don't quote me exactly on all the details here. What I'm trying to say here is that I'm offering a plan, an integration for all those people who are interested in building an online e-commerce site. So instead of spending $100,000, and some guy just recently quoted me or emailed me, told me that they quoted him $150,000 to build him a site, which that's crazy. And then also the integration, right? So if you guys want, let's say you have a Shopify website and you tell me, hey, you know what, I want to connect to your program, to your database. Well, I would quote you guys to build that integration. It shouldn't be more than $4,000 to $6,000 to just build that. But once you pay that, it's like your site is fully loaded, right? It's like it has all the products that you need. You will be getting a discounted FedEx rate that we're using, so automatically you're gonna get your money back if you play your pieces right. So that's one program that I'm offering. If you guys are interested, feel free to reach out to me via email or Instagram, preferably email, but also follow me on Instagram. And then the other option is if you're more hands-off and you just want the catalog, but you want to build that integration with, let's say, NTW, ATD, Tires Warehouse, US Auto Force, Tire Hub. All these warehouses have integrations, but oftentimes I struggled with finding a trustworthy company that could help me with that integration. If you're in the need for a developer or an integration specialist, I do have a partnership in my friend's company now, so I'm a partner of that software company. I can offer you guys a discounted price for any integration you need built. So again, if it's custom program, if it's a custom integration, even if it's a website that you want to build for any reason, for whatever, I can quote you and we can help you guys get that going, just so you're not by yourself, because at first, when you don't know anything about coding, you don't have a team, you don't know who to reach out to, it's a little bit hard to know what to do or how to do it. So again, guys, in summary, if you simply integrate, with my system that already has 1,000 warehouses connected all over the US and discounted FedEx rates, just for $6,000 roughly, you know, 6 to 8, depends, you know, how much it would be, you're already saving the $150,000 that you'd be spending, plus you get your site up and running, and I think it's really, really convenient for everyone, right? Or if you're needing a special developing team that can have your back, then that's where I can also jump in and help, you know, offer that guidance. So that is all for today, guys. I really enjoyed this video. I've been wanting to make this video as to how I've been able to sell over $500,000 in dropshipping tires. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video so that other people like yourself can access this video, or it's recommended this video. And again, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.